I'm Ishan Parashar, and today we are going to have our very first interview for Tea Talks with Teachers. And for our guest today, we have Dr. Krishnendu Sarkar, who is the head of academics in NSHM Knowledge Campus. Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, Ishan. Good afternoon.
How are you?
Great.
Sir, we have prepared quite a lot of questions for you today.
Oh.
And sir, one thing I wanted to know first. Sir, you are like the kind of guy with a deep voice and that big hair. So it must have been hard for everyone around you to like ignore this aura that you carry with yourself.
I don't know whether I carry a aura like that or not, but yeah, I prefer to be internally happy, and because of not only the self thing which probably you just talked about, but also people around me. I'm very lucky to have good people, and so you are known by the company you keep. So probably thanks to my company, the people around me, that I'm happy and I feel good, and probably I look good, as you rightly said.
So, sir, moving for the first question we have. What adjectives would you use to describe your presence on campus?
See, talking about adjectives, you ask people, everybody will come up with great words like, say, grand or wonderful. For me, it will be super, super. But then more than adjectives, I believe in, say, verbs, because action verbs, because now it brings in some activity, action, momentum into whatever you feel and you want to do. Say, for example, creating something. So NSHM is a great place to create, to demonstrate, to explain, to experiment. So these are something which are drivers. Now the verbs are the drivers rather than the adjectives, and you get a lot of those action verbs staying in this place. That's what I can share with you from my experience, as you wanted to know. So more about verbs than adjectives. Yeah, sure.
Moving on to the next question. What was your craziest college experience as a professor?
Wow. I think a few years back, what I did, I took that big boss kind of a situation into the classroom, and we created a flipped classroom. And there were 70 odd students, and we put them for 3 days locked up kind of a thing in one room. We gave them, right from breakfast to that evening tea, everything was done by us. The bandwidth was there. They were free to do anything within those four walls, closed doors. And we used to just peep in at a time. It was kind of a big boss thing. It was a crazy thing because they're supposed to solve some critical problems. But at the end of that third day, so obviously that crazy experience became a beautiful experience for all of us.
So you
Yeah,
must
that
have
was
that
crazy.
voice also.
Must have been, sorry.
We have that voice also for the big boss, Big boss chat.
But I don't know why these big bosses are not happening now. We want to do more such big bosses now.
So will be full of fun. That will be full of fun for us,
Now that you have studios and media, and maybe what we can do is we can even do a bit of a live streaming also on exactly what is going in that room, students performing in groups.
So we can have you there also if you want. So, next we have describe your college days.
You ask anybody and they will say full of fun, right? But see, if that college happens to be a residential college, like I was in a residential college, and there were around 20 odd hostels. So you remember, so most of us were when our hostel is. So obviously, life is an extended life beyond your classrooms. So basically, you learn what they do not teach you in the classrooms. That is the best thing which probably you can do in college. That you learn a lot of things which probably people don't teach you in the classrooms, and that learning remains with you for life.
So true, sir. So, sir, if you could go back, what would you want to tell your 15-year-old self?
15-year-old self, hey, prepare yourself to be a movie actor. No, 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 not like that. Seriously.
You can be that.
Seriously, if I go back to my 15-year-old days, I will tell myself, hey, read more books, right? It can be story books, it can be fiction, non-fiction, but read books. That is something which probably I thought that I could have done as a 15-year-old more.
So, sir, next we have what would the students be surprised to find out about you?
Nothing so great about. See, I do kind of go as you like cooking, go as you like singing, And I do a bit of a nagging dance as well, if you want
my
to know.
God.
Yeah.
We have heard about
Right.
it. We have heard about it.
I hope my knees can give that strength for some more time so that I can continue with those kind of crazy stuff. But yes, these are certain things which probably I do, and I behave like obviously a normal social guy, and I prefer company, as I directly shared with you earlier on, because if you have good people around, any time is merry time. Any time is time wherein probably you become some memorable moments. You get some things. So obviously it is something which probably I try to behave like as normal as possible.
So when are we going to see the Nagin dance again?
Prior to answering your question, let me tell you, if you want to know from me that what are the things which probably are hidden, probably I'm not putting those into surface, which people don't know, is I do a bit of social work and have been doing consciously for a long time. And so there are places in Jharkhand in particular, those remote areas. So it is something which gives the soul a sustenance. And the reason of the being that, okay, you are in the educational system, so at least, so if you are not doing something good, how can you preach? So the very idea of being is that, okay, at least dirty your hands, at least try to put your hands in certain things and come up with failures or success, whatever. So at least you can tell that you've done something, you've gone through that process. So yes, I consciously also do a bit of social work. So answering to your last question, I thought I should include this particular point. Yeah.
So the next question is, what does your morning routine look like?
Earlier it used to be quite good, worth sharing and telling that, hey, I am going for my morning walks and bit of gymming and doing all those nice things, healthy stuff. But of late, let me tell you, I have been a lazy guy, just waking up and with a cup of tea, and then you guys are not into newspapers, I know, but I'm with newspapers. So obviously newspapers, then again tea, then again, then you do a bit of surfing with your mobiles and social media. So these are the things which probably keep me.
Not that Nagin dance classes.
Oh no, not in the morning. It is reserved for special occasions only now.
Okay. So there's something that you really admire about our generation.
Nothing. No. Your generation is full of life, let me tell you. You guys are sorted out, you are kind of an independent. You are not bogged down with those typical traditional, say, if I can use the term, clauses that, okay, you have to do this and don't do that. So while you guys are socially responsible, but you care less for, say, those rules and guidelines and the norms which probably traditionally in India, as part of the value system, generation-wise, these things has come up. But somehow Gen Z, if I take, or as I said, that, okay, you have a mind of your own, and the country, society, even people, Gen X or Gen Y, your parents, they have a lot of kind of expectation from your generation. What they see in your generation is probably a anti-mirror image of what they were. So the reason why they feel it is a bit exciting is probably they are not very clear about your future as a parent, So these are the things which are probably, I'm sure, is very interesting, and the way you guys interact across genders, right? And you are free. So you're full of life, and I'm sure that probably you have a responsibility when it comes to freedom of expression. So all these things put together, what I see is this Gen Z is something which has the power to change, and the power to bring in some maybe a new life into the daily mores of the typical society thing, which probably we are into.
There you go, my Gen Z friends. we have a supporter.
Yeah.
So you
great
talk
people.
about this burden that we have from parents, like they don't have the same thought process that we have today. So do you feel that this gap, we can fill up this gap, and they should come a bit closer to us?
You should never fill up those gaps, because just because there is a gap, right? The reason why it becomes so very interesting, right? Because see, every day is a new day. And in these times, unlike the times of the Zen Y and the Zen XS, things are changing very fast. So it's not like that. Probably you come up with an, in schools, what you used to get, write about your goal in life, what you want to become in life. And you know what, poor guys like school children, we were also part of a school and we used to supposed to write those essays and the things without knowing much because see, there were very few options, less options. Expectations were also around those options. But now these options are increasing, growing, and even the options are depleting. So what is an opportunity today might not be that same opportunity tomorrow. So reason why the Gen Z is more adaptive to change vis-a-vis those previous generations, the gap is there. And the reason why this gap is there is that you have that kind of, and what I say is a beautiful flux you develop, right? Let's say, for example, you have a North Pole and a South Pole, kind of a thing. So reason why you have a North Pole and a South Pole, and you have a gap in between, is that you create those flux, the magnetic flux, right? So that's the properties of the magnet which reflects more that way, rather than sticking those two magnets together, right? So to create that kind of an flux, wherein it is not like those poles are not getting apart from each other. So they maintain that distance so that the flux is there. If you pull them far beyond that limit, though, there's no flux. So the Gen Z and your previous generations, so this particular gap is very, very important to maintain that kind of a right flux. Because as I said, it is required. It is required. Because that way you appreciate each other better. Yeah.
So moving on to our rapid fire round.
Don't make it difficult for me.
No, we are trying to.
So let me have a sip. It is a tea talk, you said.
Yeah.
So let my viewers know that, see, this is original tea I'm having, right? And let me taste and see. Yeah, very sweet. But anyway, thank you. Yeah.
Better than your morning tea?
No, my morning tea is without sugar, you know. I'm not taking sugar and stuff like that. But I like tea that way. You know, if you want to enjoy good tea, Darjeeling tea, you know, in particular, so it has to be liquor, no milk, and no sugar.
Okay.
Yeah, you try it.
So you have that, yeah.
Yes, I do not get those Darjeeling tea, you know, out
That's
in the
the
morning.
source of your energy or what?
No. If you ask me, I prefer masala tea, so with a lot of ginger and that kind of stuff. So that is the kind of tea I prefer.
So let's move on.
Yeah.
To our rapid fire round.
Please. So I have this option to say skip.
No.
So there is no option.
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir. It's not like you have 5 questions and you have to choose 3 questions. No, we are not giving you that. Please.
No issue. I will try my
Not
best.
this time, sir.
Yeah, I will try my
We're
best.
gonna have the offline exams for next year.
Listen, I won't be cosmetic. I will be original, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So whatever it is, good or bad, I want to stick to that. Whatever comes to mind, I will speak. Yeah, sure.
What are you trapped on a desert island?
If I'm trapped on a desert island,
Yeah.
yes,
What books or movies would you prefer?
I would prefer.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay, fine. So if it is a kind of an island and there is no company for me, because I thrive in company, so I'm not an isolated kind of a guy. I don't prefer isolation. But if isolation is forced onto me, I will take a lot of my childhood books with me. Yes, all those comics, because you guys have not seen those Phantom comics or the Tarzan books. I will take a lot of my Reader Digests, which I have, and I have a complete set of encyclopedia I've never touched. It is there on my bookshelf. I'll prefer to take that particular entire volumes of encyclopedia with me as books, right? And there can be also a book, How to Save Yourself Staying in a God-forsaken land or island. So that kind of a book also I would want to keep myself, alive. Talking about movies, if I get good bandwidth there, which I cannot expect, but if it is there in the desert. So yes, thanks to today, a lot of OTT content, I think I will prefer to get glued with those kind of a 60 episode, 120 episode kind of and stuff. Yeah, so I know exactly. Maybe I can be on a treetop somewhere, wherein I can get
Searching for tower and
get
watching
that tower. Yeah, so the treetop with a mobile or a whatever handheld, whatever pad I have, it will be a great time with the birds.
So it will be so bad if you start like if you are in a climax scene of Breaking Bad and then and suddenly the signal goes away and you are like, oh my god, I missed it. I really missed it.
No, I will use that mobile to shoot myself only.
Okay,
I will then
yeah.
use my mobile as I find now that the bandwidth is not there. Let me prepare some content. Maybe it would be a good idea to create some content and then put it across. And I should prefer to come up with YouTube channel. I do not have a channel right now. Maybe if I get such opportunities, okay, you can get lost in somewhere for some days, and then probably there will be some helicopter coming and picking me up. So maybe I can carry this kind of your cameras and mobile and shoot something. So, because it will be a great content for people to be. You see how to remain alive even if you're alone.
Okay, so you're gonna be the next Bear Grylls, I guess.
Might be, but in a different way, in a romantic way.
Yeah. So the next question we have is: if you won the lottery and decided to give up teaching, what would you do instead?
Yeah, I will still try to teach myself. See, the point is, as a teacher, normally you figure it out. Okay, he's a person or she's a person who is kind of supposed to impart knowledge. Is a knowledge giver to a set of participants, or which we call pupils or students. But then, if you get this kind of money, then probably I would really use a portion of that to teach myself. Right? Say, for example, I want to learn certain things. It can be adventure sports, right? From adventure sports to the fine arts of cooking and even singing or whatever, theater. So a lot of things which probably are there in the back of the mind, subconscious mind, which you feel that, okay, you have that innate ability or the potential. So probably I can use that money to go to the best of the places, right, and get taught myself by those peers or the experts in those areas. So that will be a great way, to spend that money.
Okay. So moving on to the next question: do you watch shows one episode at a time or binge whole season?
Yeah, in fact, if it is interesting, then to obviously you cannot stop in episode one, because see, they create those episodes in such a way that probably you have to binge through, you have to go through. The reason why, the body clocks have changed. My body clock has also changed. It's no longer that good boy thing. Okay, you are supposed to have dinner in this time and go to bed by this time, sleep by that time, wake up by that time. The entire body clock has changed. So you can blame it or even offer your thanks, to this OTT content or things like that,
Yeah.
because these episodes really are very, very interesting, very well made. And this content, let me tell you, during this COVID period, the one thing which probably, gave a lot of solace and confidence and the will to live and see that tomorrow is that, okay, there are a few episodes remaining, and that was something, okay, I have to catch those episodes the next day. So this content was something which kept people, even if they are glued in their homes and things like that. The good content was there. I'm sure that probably there will be this kind of content which will be coming in the future days as well, which will be excellent. And forget about your body clocks. I don't know, but in the future you'll be having some chips or somewhere in your bodies, so you need not even go to near your television or get your mobile on your hand. Maybe some fancy glass is there while you're resting and you are having a typical that virtual reality. Let me tell you something called metaverse, which is coming.
Yeah.
Excellent thing, I mean, imaginative. Just imagine that entire thing is 3D before you. So whatever content today we are seeing, you talked about episodes, and I'm seeing it in 2D right now. And imagining that probably in the future, I get those actors, characters, elements, objects, whatever coming out from that source near me, around me, and I'm part of that. You're part of that, so you cannot even leave then. So that is the metaverse thing which is happening, the next stage of AR, VR.
So, name some of your favorite series or movies.
My movies, see, off late, I'm into obviously, as I said, Netflix and Amazon Prime and all this because the content is very good, and even you can catch up on your old movies. You can revisit certain documents, which probably you have probably watched long time before. I remember in our times, we used to even go to those playgrounds, and we had this community wherein they used to come with cameras and this movie cameras, 16
We
mm.
saw that in Swadesh.
You saw that in Swadesh? Yes. So we have also watched a lot of movies that way, right? And now that you find the same movies in these kind of platforms, so obviously you catch up on a lot of those old movies. In our time, Hollywood was not very accessible to us. Those movies got released in metro cities like Kolkata, and we were not in a metro city. So now it is time that you can get into those kind of content. So what I do is I get that IMDb rating chart. So right now I have a list of say 50 movies based on that IMDb score. So whatever it is 8.5 and more. So be it in any language. So 8.5 and more. So I have a list of 50. So that is in my watch list of movies.
That you give me hopes right now that I should watch. I should start watching those movies right now. So, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
So why?
Yeah, cats are cute, but I think dogs are something that you can learn a lot from that animal. Oh God, I mean, how to remain faithful, how to be diligent, how to be fit, how to be frugal.
So even cats are very.
Yeah, but you know what? And even let me tell you that so they show a little bit more attributes when it comes to that influencing part. So as I said, I don't know. It might be gender. It can be a gender bias that okay, since I would prefer go with a. I would prefer scene with a dog, right, than a cat. So is it something like that? With a dog, you can have an indoor pleasure and also an outdoor kind of a thing, right? But it's not the same with cats. I believe that I have not seen somebody just walking a cat around the road. I have not seen. I mean, it's something so that you can do with a dog. And see, but the important things are that see the agility and that life which they bring in. Let me tell you one more thing. This is from my family, and that there was this case of depression in one of my nieces, and she was in US that time, and the doctor recommended, see, there is the only cure is that you have a pet and that to a dog. No medicines, nothing. Just live with a pet. And believe you me, that she came back and said, I don't know, magic happened. That because of that dog which I took, I'm totally cured, I'm full of life. And now she has plenty full of dogs and she only wants to live with dogs. She doesn't want children also. Yeah, they have decided as a family. See, same Zenzi. That, okay, you wanted us to get married, but that's fine. But then that call is ours, whether you want to have children and stuff like that. So they want to have dogs as my children. They sleep together, they walk together, they go to schools, they have parent-teachers meeting. Yeah, everything. They get awards. So the point, what I'm trying to make is that, see, this is something which probably helps you in many ways, biologically, mentally, spiritually. Spiritually. So the reason why I will obviously go with dogs.
Okay, so would you rather travel to the past or the future?
I would love to travel to the past. Why? Because, Alvin Toffler, 1971, I remember, he wrote a great document, great book, The Future Shock. And most of his, whatever he has written that time, 1970s, early 70s, close to reality, right? So the future shocks, basically. I am not using the term shocks, but anyway, it shocks. But the past is basically a revisiting.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of unknown things which are hidden in those known things which have come through. So obviously, I would love to go back to the past and try to revisit certain things which are part of memory, and also to bring new memories from the past, because that is something which probably you can reclaim. You had it before, so it is something that you can reclaim. So I cannot reclaim the future, right? So obviously, so it's just like, people tell you, na, कि, hey, don't mix with the stranger, or at the very first moment, you're not supposed to go and give a stranger a hug. So future is unknown. Why I should hug an unknown somebody? Rather, a known devil is better than an unknown friend, or whatever they say, right?
So moving on to the next question. What is your last Google search?
My last Google search, I think you will not be happy to listen to my answer, because it will be very boring, right? Because the other day I had a panel discussion to do with sustainable development, where higher educations can play a very important role. So basically, my last Google search was on worldwide institutions who have some exemplary models on SD, sustainable development matters involving their students and the faculty. So this is something which probably I'm sure that probably might not have given you a big smile or
So
something.
you would have wanted something interesting.
I know. So sorry for that.
So, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Yeah, I am not a karaoke person, but let me tell you, just the other day, yeah, this will be interesting. And this is true. As I said, see, if this is a piece of Bible, I am touching this Bible and say, whatever I say is the truth. Gita, Bible, whatever. So I wanted to record a song, because my friends, classmates, we have a group, and we're great guys who sing. And they
still have
use
that
this
group?
Smule, SMULE, Smule is the one, I think, karaoke site. I'm not sure. Am I right? And there are a few more such. So,
So you still have that group?
no, I have is with my classmates group, yeah. So those are the things, those are my morning things, you have to say hello to your group in the morning, and also in the evening before you go to bed. So those are, see, school friends are the friends forever. So, what, coming back to this, my karaoke thing. So yeah, I tried, but I failed, because they say that you have to be a member, you have to share us with so and so information, which I thought, see, today everybody, so much of digital footprint, why to create more footprints? But yes, I would love to have a karaoke kind of an thing. If you can arrange it right now, probably I can hum a few lines. Yeah, I am confident. Yes, I can hum a few lines. If you can arrange your karaoke for me right now.
Okay, so can you sing something for us, like, please? Something like.
Okay. माना हो तुम बेहद हसी, इतने बुरे हम भी नहीं, माना हो तुम इतनी हसी, इतने बुरे हम भी नहीं. Then there's a lot of things going on.
Sir, I should take you to this,
बेकरार करके
sunflower.
हमें यूं न जाइए, आपको हमारी कसम लौट आइए. बेकरार करके हमें यूं न जाइए, आपको हमारी कसम लौट आइए. हाँ, बहुत बहुत गाना जी, बैठे कभी आप चाय के साथ तो गाना ही चलेगा बस, बहुत अच्छा.
सर, आपको मैं वो सनफ्लावर फील्ड में चलते समय वहाँ पे थोड़ा वो हवा.
What is that sunflower field?
No, sir,
Okay,
that
okay.
thing, sir, you should have that.
Okay.
No, sir, I would love to see you.
That
do
will
that.
give us a
Yeah, that gives us that vibe,
good
like,
production.
Yeah, and good views too.
Good views. I don't know how people get views, because see, let me tell you, at times I see Google and a lot of other media, and I see million followers or whatever. No, then I see the content, and this content, I feel this content is not that good or whatever. But then it comes to those weird shape. I don't know, there must be some trick or something. I don't know. So let us not go with the virality or the number of views. If the people are happy, if you can make 10 people happy with whatever little you are doing it, go for it.
The next question is, if you have a pet, what is the weirdest thing your pet does?
Uh, yeah, obviously, with good training, they won't do things which probably they are not
But
trained for.
they certainly reflect.
Yeah, what happens again? Coming back to dog, something, because see, there are also people who are not dog haters, but they fear. There's a fear of dog. So at times what happens that if they step into your room and knock and they straight away enter, and then suddenly they find that there is a creature on their top, right? So then you feel little weird because the expressions when you see of your guests are not very welcoming. Then you have to plead sorry and whatever. Hey, I should have warned you before or something. I don't know. So those are certain weirdest things which probably they are doing as a sign of show of love. But then if the people are not very kind of an accustomed to this kind of an love expression, so they might feel a little out of place. So those can be certain weirdest moment when it comes to dealing with pets.
Okay, so what was the last impulse buy?
My last impulse buy. I don't buy things much because that I leave it to my other members of my family. Thankfully, they care for me. So my role is limited to buying fruits, vegetables, and stuff like that. Impulse buy, I think, if I say, see, we are from middle class, and as you know, as a teacher, so I'm not into stuff which is. So I was looking for Ilish, for Bengali, and let me tell you, it was little exorbitant, for quite some time, the last 1 year or so. And off late, it came down below that 4-digit mark. So that was an impulse buy that at least you can get a big Ilish fish, Hilsa fish in English for you. So that was my last impulse buy. That's it.
The fish.
Yeah, fish, because see, as I said, nothing so grand. So as those big ticket purchases, I leave it to the other members of my family. Mine is only a small ticket purchases. Yeah.
But still, sir, you are the big boss.
I'm not very impulsive person when it comes to picking up things from the shelf. So I believe in responsible consumption, and that is something, in a partially I follow, and I also appreciate people who follow the responsible consumption, which means as little as possible you are generating waste, and you are only consuming things which probably you need. And of course, a little want side is also there because the desire also is there. Because fine, you can step into that desire zone as part of your cheat day or your cheat week. But essentially, I think one should remain in the needs zone. So the responsible consumption is something which probably will help us to check on our such impulses, right?
So, which colleague makes you laugh the most? So we probably know that you are the if you are in a room, like, you are the funniest guy in a room. But who is that one person who makes you laugh the most? Who is that one colleague?
You want it in a session or So I have so many of my
No, sir,
acquaintances.
in an session.
See, I can tell you one thing. I have spent close to 20 years with NSHM from Durgapur and then Kolkata. And in this process, in this journey, I have so many those nice company. Again, coming back to the company of teachers and students, right? So that company, I was lucky to have this kind of a company always with me. So, we had great characters also in the process. Yeah, great characters. And the teachers whom you see in the class are probably a little serious type, or probably you feel that, okay, this guy cannot open up or something like that. But they are different people altogether. And I believe humor is the key. Humor is the key to success, let me tell you. So that is something, either you are able to generate humor, so you are a very creative person, or you are able to appreciate humor. So you are then very humane if you are appreciating humor. Because see, humor is not only about that I am supposed to tickle you till you laugh aloud, right? It is not that kind of a humor. It is basically a kind of a moment, even an expression, right? Or even a little bit of a funny line here, which indicates a lot of meaning, right? Say, for example, when it comes to politics, so I have people, colleagues. You want to name them here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love the
And any such
company.
incident?
I love this company of Professor Debanjan Banerjee and Professor Rajkumar Dasgupta for some time.
Dipanjan sir.
Yeah, Debanjan sir, you're Debanjan son, you're Rajkumar sir. So normally I feel a little off when for a long time they're not coming to me, so I call them. And obviously we spend time discussing about politics because see these guys are of different polarity, right? So I'm a bit of a neutral person. So I enjoy this kind of and staying in that flux of one North Pole and South Pole, right? So I enjoy that company. A lot of humor, a lot of, I also enjoyed my company with, he's not here, he's in other university right now with Professor Naveen Das, and we are very close, and a lot of haha hoo we used to do it. And our faculty members wonder that why these directors are always in this kind of a jovial mood. But if you want to bring in change, if you want to create something, you have to involve people. And let me tell you, one gel which can, unite your people is that humor.
Very true.
So we believe in humor, and we had great people right from the very start. I can give you a long list of names. And everybody, I feel, has that kind of an ability to generate that little wow, right? And which comes in a packet of bit of an humor, right? So even if it is not true, but it really gives you some kind of a pleasure. Hey, you're looking great today. I mean, what you have done or what you had for your breakfast. Even if you're not feeling right, probably somebody might have gauged that, and they wanted you to feel good because through your body language they could make it out that probably you're feeling a bit low. So they come up with something like a very jovial line with a great laugh. Hi, great boss, I was just looking for you, and let me tell you that today you are looking grand, right? Can I have a photo with you? I want to share this. Suddenly you feel, what happened here? Am I? But I was not feeling that good inside. So I believe that this is some of the streaks which probably we have around NSHM, that, the people really care for each other. And that is that streak of humor which is there, which really binds people together, I believe. So that is that only, and you don't need investment for that kind of a thing. So it is something which is just like very natural. As the nature provides you a lot of resources in abundance, the God has created humans with this ability, which the other animals do not have. Nobody has. Only the humans have this ability of property of humor, to design humor, to show that, express that. Why don't you use it? And that is in abundance in everybody, right? I think after this talk of ours, people will really figure it out. Am I somebody who can really create humor?
Name someone you look up to.
Obviously, as I said, that I look up to. I don't want to give you a certain rote kind of an answers which are very, very common, but very true. That of course, when you grow up, you look up to your parents and then your teachers, and as you move along in life, your milestone changes, right? So just like you're on a road, and you see the first, and you want the first milestone, and when you meet that milestone, so you say to yourself, hey, I wanted to meet you, and probably I'm meeting you right on time, and I'm so happy to meeting you. And then I look forward to the new milestone, because that's your next target, your next motivation. And the reason why people say that, reason why you enjoy the journey more than the destination is because of these milestones that you look up to. As I said, so these are things, and I even look up to my students, and I share a lot of stories of my students, to people around me, and they also feel so nice, because it is not about that whether you are in an Ivy League or you are in a typical Sarkari league in some rural place, pursuing your education. There are so many stories which probably you can create out of your students, and they create your stories. Like, for example, I had a student when I was in Durgapur campus, and during the vacation time, while everybody, was gaga about going to homes and having home food and stuff like that, he used to come to Calcutta, near Fort William. He used to had this, he was a fruit vendor, and he released his father from the duty, you go and to the village and mind your agriculture while I mind your business. And he shared the story with me, that this is how probably he liked doing this job, because he used to communicate in English. So it was his pride. Sir, I communicate in English, and I have this army people and their wives. My fruits get sold in just quick time. And he was so very proud in doing that job. So when I learned that, so that was something I looked up to. So that is something, a kind of a joy which is manufactured with right emotions, grit, determination, confidence. And if you are able to derive that joy through that process, no shortcuts, that is something which is so contagious that so I have so many cases like this. So from the student side, apart from, as I said, that so many milestones for you, right from your parents to your teachers to you walk in, and the great people are obviously there, who are there in the history books or probably in the news channels. Everybody has that innate ability to charm you, to excel, to do something which is very useful, and I'm sure that impacts.
So, sir, next we have, what object do you misplace or lose the most?
Mobile. A mobile. And you know what? Sometimes it has happened like this, that I have driven back to either my home or my office in search of my mobile, just to find that it was already with me. Because see, I always have that kind of a thing. Have I left it somewhere? Probably I have left it, and I've seen here, there, I'm not getting it. But it was with me, but probably I have kept it in a different place, in my car or whatever. So mobile is something which probably I really,
So mobile is...
reason why I've kept it here before me, that, after this talk, maybe I should pick it up while I leave, yeah.
No, so I'll make it pick it up.
Thank you.
So, what is the kindest thing you have ever done for someone else?
Nothing to talk about. Sorry. Nothing to talk about. As I said that, yes, if you ask me, are you a kind-hearted person, then I will say, yeah, partially I attempt to be a kind-hearted person in whatever situation I am in. But the kindest thing which I have done recently, I don't know, is something, see, now is the time wherein, let me tell you, when you are in your 50s, right? I'm talking about my age, fine. So whenever you're in your 50s, there has to be, you have to be kind to yourself first. So you have to now learn, so now I'm learning to be kind to the self. So not to spoil that self, but to be kind, right? Also think about the self, that, okay, what is good for that self on that point of time, nurture that self, right? Through books, materials, otherwise, whatever is good for that particular self. So first of all, love yourself and be kind to the self. This is what probably now I'm trying to do. Yes, because if you are good, right, if you are nurtured well by you, then only you can extend that from within to outside, to be honest.
So that's why at the start I said you have that aura with you, right?
Thank you so much.
Okay, so which phrase motivates you the most?
Yeah, this is what Amitabh Bachchan, I really like one line which he always shares, and I also feel very close to that particular line. So it was Amitabh Bachchan who shared that every time he planned for something, it was not up to what was expected by him. So he thought probably I'm a failure in the beginnings, So he reaches to his father and the great Harivansh Rai Bachchan ji. So he put this question that, see, I have tried so many things and nothing is happening. And probably I also have this interview with Radio Ceylon, and I hope that probably I get it. Then this line which you said, which Harivansh Rai Bachchan shared with him, and Amitabh shared with people like us, viewers like us. And I remember that line, मन की हो तो अच्छा, मन की ना हो तो बहुत अच्छा. So I really say, see, this is what the line which is true for entrepreneurs. This is the line which is true for my student, for my teachers, for anybody. मन का हो तो अच्छा, अगर ना हो तो बहुत अच्छा. So there's always a room that even if you fail, you can succeed, because that failure is a good thing which has happened, because there is something good which probably, if you can try, you can make it. So this is the line which I feel is very close to my heart.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. So with this, we come to the end of our interview, and I'm very glad. It was great meeting you, sir. You were superb.
Arey, lovely, yaar. I mean, let me finish the tea even it was gone cold.
So that was it for today with our own boss man KS sir. Stay tuned for more episodes like this on Tea Talks with Teachers, straight from NSHM Knowledge Campus. That was it for with our own KC sir. So that was it for today with our own boss man KC sir. Stay tuned. Stay tuned with Tea with Teachers. We have today our guest as